The next concept we want to introduce here is built off of our constraints, but actually defines a new kind of entity set. It's called a weak entity. A weak entity is an entity that can only be defined uniquely by considering the primary key of some other owner entity. So for example, down here we have a picture of a weak entity set dependents. And what these are people who are covered by the insurance policy of employees, like their children or their spouses. Okay? These dependents are not employees, and they wouldn't otherwise be in the system. So they won't have social security number information, for example, in the system. So how do we keep track of these dependents? Well, only by relating them to employees. And so the way we're going to draw this is that the owner entity set and the weak entity set, so in that case employees and dependents, must participate in a one-to-many relationship set. So there's one owner for many weak entities. So a child, for example, must be connected to an employee with a policy. An employee with a policy may have multiple children under that policy, and that's fine. Now the weak entity set has to have total participation in this identifying relationship set. Each dependent must have a policy associated with an employee. Okay? Weak entities are drawn as having a bold arrow as well as bold edging around both the entity set and the corresponding relationship set that defines how they are related to regular entities. Okay? So this dependence policy pair go together with that bold arrow between them. The bold arrow says that every dependent has exactly one policy that they're covered by. And the bold edges around policy and dependence help us remember that they go together to make a weak entity set. Note that weak entity sets don't have regular keys either. They only have partial keys. So for example, P-name here might be the name of the person on the policy. So suppose you have a kid and the kid's name is Robot. Well, there may be many kids named Robot in the dependent set because, it's a popular name for kids. And so the way we'll distinguish your robot is you are the robot P-name that is associated with your social security number. So a dependent named Robot all by themselves is not well distinguished. That's not a key. P-name is not a key. But the concatenation of P-name with SSN is a key. So the robot that belongs to your SSN is a well-known, well-identified dependent. Okay? So weak entity sets only have partial keys, which are underlined with dotted lines. And the way you form a full key for them is you take the partial key, you follow the relationship set that goes with the weak entity set until you get to the key of the other side entity set. In this case, SSN.